Welcome to the 2021 Town of Grafton Special Town Meeting. My name is Dawn Anderson, and I am the new moderator. I would like to appoint Dave Robbins as deputy moderator. He is in the gymnasium. I ask that all visitors please be seated between the 30 and 20-yard line. There aren't that many visitors. If you would like to speak on an article, please come down to the microphone and wait to be called on by the moderator. We have 4 microphones set up on the field. 1, 2, 3, 4. Please remember to first state your name and address. Please note we have a deputy moderator in the gym with a microphone so that people can ask questions. Votes will be taken by a hand count. The gym will vote first, and then the people in the field will vote. Paddles have been distributed for the hand count, green for yes, red for no. Please raise your paddle when you vote and keep holding it up until you are asked to put it down. Standing vote will be taken if the moderator feels that the vote count is too close to call. No shouting or outbursts will be allowed at any time. Drinks are allowed on the field for this meeting. Umbrellas are allowed on the field, but please try not to block anyone's view. In compliance with the new masking guidelines, we ask that all those who are not vaccinated to please mask up. For those who are vaccinated, wearing a mask is optional. I would now ask the town clerk, Candy LaValle, to read the return of the warrant.
Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Grafton, Special Town Meeting Warrant to any of the constables of the Town of Grafton in the County of Worcester. Greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the Town of Grafton qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet on or in the Grafton High School football field gymnasium at the Grafton High School on Saturday, the 5th day of June, 2021. Rain date, Sunday, the 6th day of June, 2021 at 11 a.m. and act on the following articles. And you are directed to serve this warrant by posting up an attested copy thereof in some conspicuous place in each of the precincts of the town at least 14 days before said meeting. Hereof, fail not and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of meeting as aforesaid. Given under our hands this 4th day of May in the year of our Lord 2021. Select Board. Peter Carlson, Chairman. Doreen DeFazio, Vice Chairman. Colleen Roy, Clerk. Matthew Offen, Edward Prisby. I have complied with the requirements of the above warrant and with the Town of Grafton bylaws by posting an attest copy of the warrant in some conspicuous place in each of the precincts of the town on the above date. Mary Ann DeFries, Constable of Grafton.
I would now like to ask the town administrator to review the procedures for the consent agenda.
Can I borrow yours? Oh, here we go. Hi, everyone. I'm Evan. I'm the new town administrator. So I'm just going to briefly go over what a consent motion is and how it works. So we are going to have 2 motions on the special town meeting. The first one is to move the articles onto what's called a consent warrant, which means that you take one vote to pass all of the articles that are on that one warrant. So it's procedurally quicker. At any point, if you would like to discuss a particular article on that warrant, when that warrant number is called, you just yell out "hold," and that will be pulled out of the consent agenda. All right, thank you.
Article 1.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move the town move Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10 to a consent warrant for the purpose of passing said articles by consent.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. All those in favor? All those opposed? I declare the motion passed. I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
Oh,
Wait,
Madam Moderator?
yes, sir.
I would like to read the second part for the motion of now passing and acting upon Articles 1
I
through 10.
apologize.
That's okay. Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson,
I move that the town vote to act upon Articles 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10, and that they be passed by consent.
motion made and seconded. Article 1, Article 2, Article 3, Article 4, Article 5, Article 6, Article 7, Article 8, Article 9, Article 10.
No, you just do the number. You just do the number. And if you want to hold it, you say hold when she says the number. She did it right.
All those in favor? All those opposed? I declare the motion carried.
Who's the next one?
In the gym, yes.
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Sorry. All in favor? All opposed? I declare the motion carried. See you at 11:30.
Now I'm regretting making the idea.
Welcome to the 2021 Town of Grafton Spring Town Meeting. My name is Dawn Anderson, and I am the new moderator. I would like to appoint Dave Robbins as deputy moderator in the gym. If you would like to speak on an article, please come to one of the microphones on the field and wait to be called on by the moderator. Please remember to first state your name and address. The deputy moderator is in the gym with a microphone so people can ask questions from that location. Votes will be taken by hand count. The gym will vote first, and then the people on the field will vote. Paddles have been distributed for the hand count, a green for yes, a red for no. Please raise your paddle for the vote and keep holding it up until you are asked to put it down. Standing votes will be taken if the moderator feels the vote is too close to call. Standing votes will be taken by section. Please remain standing until you are instructed to be seated. There will be no shouting or outbursts allowed at any time. Drinks are allowed on the field during the meeting. Umbrellas are allowed on the field during the meeting. I would like to ask the chair of the Select Board, Peter Carlson, to lead us in the Pledge of Allegiance.
Nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. I'm pleased to announce the term renewals for the Finance Committee, Irene Houle, Angelina Correa, and Daniel Kusher. And I am pleased to announce the following newly elected people: Housing Authority, Jim Gallagher. Library trustees Doug Bowman, Stephanie Texera, and Aaron Vanderson. Planning board Rob Hassinger and Justin Wood. Select board Ray Mead. School committee Laura Often and Elizabeth Spinney. Moderator Dawn Anderson. I am honored to be the first woman to preside over a town meeting, and I ask that I be addressed as Madam Moderator. Thank you. I would also like to introduce our new town administrator, Evan Brassad. And I'd like to welcome our town attorney, Ginny Kramer. Town clerk, Candy LaValle. And here today to fill us in on the goings-on up at Beacon Hill, State Representative David Meridian.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and congratulations to all the victors, including you.
Thank you.
It's very exciting to have you leading us. And I'll make this very quick because no one wants to hear a politician, but David Meridian, 8 North Street. We just finished our budget cycle back at the end of April. The House put in, and actually the Senate agreed as well, for $11.3 million in Chapter 70 funding, $1.7 million for unrestricted general government aid. So Grafton stands to be receiving a little over $13 million in this FY budget cycle coming up. Both Senator Moore and myself were successful in securing other earmarks for local priorities, for public health and safety improvements, and for municipal center upgrades. So we're excited to try to fight for that in the conference committee coming up. And I thank you for the opportunity to address everyone here. And as you did say, there is water that's able to be on the field. I also wanted to let you know that in front of the Grafton Recreation tent, we do have a cooler full of cold water. So please, everyone, help yourselves. Thank you.
I also wanted to let everyone know that we have waters at the front of the fields for anyone who needs a cold drink. Well, it's a been sitting in the sun type drink, but in any case, can still stay hydrated. I would now ask the town clerk, Candy LaValle, to read the return of the warrant.
Commonwealth of Massachusetts, Town of Grafton, Annual Town Meeting Warrant, June 5th, 2021. To any of the constables of the Town of Grafton and the County of Worcester, greetings. In the name of the Commonwealth of Massachusetts, you are directed to notify and warn the inhabitants of the Town of Grafton qualified to vote in elections and town affairs to meet on or in the Grafton High School football field at the Grafton High School on Saturday, the 5th day of June, 2021. Rain date on Sunday, the 6th day of June, 2021. At 11:30 a.m. and act on the following articles. And you are directed to serve this warrant by posting up an attested copy thereof in some conspicuous place in each of the precincts of the town at least 14 days before said meeting. Hereof fail not and make due return of this warrant with your doings thereon to the town clerk at the time and place of meeting as aforesaid. Given under our hands this 4th day of May in the year of our Lord 2021. Select Board, Peter Carlson, Chairman. Doreen DeFazio, Vice Chairman. Colleen Roy, Clerk. Matthew Offen, Edward Prisby. I've complied with the requirements of the above warrant and with the Town of Grafton bylaws by posting an attest copy of the warrant in some conspicuous place in each of the precincts of the town on the above date. Mary Ann DeFries, Constable of Grafton.
Thank you. I would like to ask the town administrator to review the process for the consent agenda and the town budget, Article 12.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So just like we did on this special, which some of you may not have been here for, we are going to pass the first 11 articles as consent, which what that means is that we lump all of those articles together. These are articles that are generally thought to not cause much controversy. And so to speed up the town meeting process, we are going to take them all as one block and vote on them in one motion, thereby by consent. The budget process this year will work a little bit differently. When we get to Article 12, rather than reading every line of the detailed budget, we are going to pass what's called an omnibus. and you will see that on Appendix A of your annual town meeting. So we've broken the town budget down into categories. And so when we read out each category, which the town clerk will do, if you would like to discuss a specific item inside of each of those budgets, you will just yell out hold, and that will stop that from being counted into the vote, and we will come back and discuss that separately. I think that's it, Madam Moderator.
Thank you. Article 1.
Madam Moderator,
Ms. DeFazio?
I move the town to vote and act upon Article 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, and 11, and that they be passed by consent.
Second.
Motion made and seconded.
Madam Moderator, I would like to hold Article 9, please.
9 is the one because of the recreation revolving?
We're going to remove Article 9 from the consent agenda and vote on the remaining. Further discussion on the consent agenda? I apologize. The walkie-talkie isn't working.
It's a shock. Same thing happened last year.
Oh, no, really?
Yeah. Didn't it happen last year, same thing? This might work for us.
Okay, hearing none. All those in favor?
I don't know.
All those in favor at the gym? All those opposed? I declare the motion carried.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
Article 9. I move the town fix the maximum amount that may be spent during the fiscal year 2022, beginning on July 1st, 2021, for the revolving funds detailed in Article 9, excluding the Recreation Department revolving account in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym? All those in favor on the field? All those opposed in the gym?
No one opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson?
Article 9. I move that the town fix the maximum amount that may be spent during fiscal year 2022, beginning on July 1st, 2021, for the Recreation Department revolving account at $350,000 in accordance with Mass General Law, Chapter 44, Section 53E and a half.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion? Any discussion on the motion in the gym? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Looks like it's unanimous in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed?
No one opposed in the gym.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 12,
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Often.
I move to raise and appropriate and/or transfer and appropriate the sum of money necessary to defray the expenses of the town for the ensuing year, the fiscal period from July 1, 2021 to June 30, 2022, as listed in Appendix A.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
Nothing here.
Any discussion on the motion for the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed? On the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 13.
Madam Moderator,
Ms. Roy.
I move the town, I move to allow the town to borrow funds not to exceed $740,000 for the replacement of Engine 1 at the fire department.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion here.
Any discussion on the motion in the field?
See, Barry, my point, what's the difference doing it as a consent or doing it this way?
Not a single question.
Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
I apologize. This requires a 2/3 vote. It's unanimous in the gym. All those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried by the required 2/3 vote. Article 14.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move to appropriate and transfer $781,000 from certified free cash and raise and appropriate $500,000 for a total sum of $1,281,000 for the funding of capital projects during the fiscal period from July 1st, 2021 to June 30th, 2022, as listed in Appendix B.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion here.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? With no further discussion, this requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried by the required 2/3 vote. Article 15.
Madam Moderator, I move to raise and appropriate $968,780 to pay the town's apportioned share of the net operating and capital assessment of the Blackstone Valley Vocational Regional School District.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 16.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead.
I move to pass over Article 16.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
Nope.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? All those in favor in the gym? All those in favor on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 17,
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Often.
I move to pass over Article 17.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the motion in the field? All those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 18.
Madam Moderator, I move to approve the sale of the parcel of land known as numbered 125 Old Westboro Road for its current fair market value of $600.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion in the gym.
I have one.
You read 125 Old Westboro Road motion. It's printed in the warrant at 127.
I amend my motion to say 127 Old Westboro Road.
No, you read the motion as 125.
Madam Moderator, can I withdraw my motion and restate it?
Yes.
I move to approve the sale of the parcel of land known as 127 Old Westboro Road for its current fair market value of $600.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
We're good in here.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? With no further discussion, this requires a 2/3 vote. All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried by the required 2/3 vote. Article 19.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move to appropriate $335,000 to fund the Grafton Community Television budget for the ensuing fiscal year as recommended by the Cable Oversight Committee.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? With no further discussion, all those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion passed. Article 20.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate and transfer funds in the amount of $79,000 from the cable project account for the purpose of paying debt service for the renovations of the cable studio.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
In favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed in the gym?
No opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 21.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead.
I move to accept hydrant number 709 as proposed by the Grafton Water District.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion for the motion on the field? With no discussion, all those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 22.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate and transfer funds in the amount of $100,000 from the sewer retained earnings account to the plant upgrade/expansion account.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor? In the gym?
All in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 23.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate and transfer funds in the amount of $100,000 from the sewer retained earnings account to the inflow and infiltration inspection account.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 24. Jeez. We're going to take a brief recess. Very glad I put extra sunscreen on now. We are back in session. Article 24,
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
it's never a dull moment at town meetings, is it? I'm glad you're okay.
Thank you.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate and transfer funds in the amount of $150,000 from the sewer retained earnings account to the major equipment repair replacement account.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 25.
Madam Moderator, I move to allow the Select Board to accept a parcel of land at the rear of 59 Pleasant Street as a donation to the town.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
Unanimous in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 26.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead?
I move that the I move to allow the town administrator and the school committee to enter into contracts for goods and services for such a period of time as they may determine, which may be longer than 3 years, but no longer than 10 years, in accordance with Mass General Laws, Chapter 30B, Section 12.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Looks like all but maybe one are in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed in the gym?
One opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 27.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate funds in the amount of $66,500 from the fiscal year 2022 Community Preservation Estimated Revenues for the purpose of making the 13th payment on interest and principal for the Pell Farm property bond.
Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None.
Any discussion on the field? All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 28.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate funds in the amount of $75,600 from the fiscal year 2022 Community Preservation Estimated Revenue for the purpose of making the seventh payment on the interest and principal of the Grafton Townhouse Restoration Bond.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No here. No discussion here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 29.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move to extend the sunset provisions for previously appropriated funds set to expire on June 30th, 2021, to create interior plans, drawings, and architectural specifications for the interior restoration of the Cisco Homestead to June 30th, 2023.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym? Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
I'm in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 30.
Madam Moderator, I move to extend the sunset provision for previously appropriated funds set to expire on June 30th, 2021 for design and engineering work for recreational upgrades at the Grafton Lions Club Dauphiné Park to June 30th, 2022.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
Most in favor.
All those in
favor.
Thank you. All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 31.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead.
I move to extend the sunset provision for previously appropriated funds set to expire on June 30th, 2021 for the restoration of the 1848 Howard and David scale and cabinet to June 30th, 2022.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 32.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate funds in the amount of $175,835 from the CPA FY 2022 budgeted reserve for the work detailed above at the Grafton Lions Club Dauphiné Park, with such funds to be expended by June 30, 2023, unless the CPC by majority vote extends the deadline.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 33.
Madam Moderator, I move to appropriate funds in the amount of $17,000 from the CPA undesignated fund for work detailed above at Flint and Hovey Ponds and a portion of the Quinsigamon River connecting them, with such funds to be expended by June 30th, 2023, unless the CPA by majority vote extends the deadline.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the field?
Roger Trahan for Old Upton Road. I think Ms. Roy made the motion, and she used the term CPA. With the respect to the vote, I think she meant CPC. small technical thing, but needs to refer to CPC. CPA is the act itself.
Madam Moderator, I withdraw my motion and would like to make another one.
Accepted.
Okay. I move to appropriate funds in the amount of $17,000 from the CPC undesignated fund for work detailed above at Flint and Hovey Ponds and a portion of the Quinsigamond River connecting them, with such funds to be extended by June 30th, 2023, unless the CPA by... Well, that's what...
Madam Moderator. No, the CPA is the Community Preservation Act. I think Ms. Roy meant to say Community Preservation Committee. Technical matter, but it's factually correct to say CPC. Because you're referring to the committee, not the act. They're two different things.
Sorry, my allergies are killing me. All right. So I'm going to try it again.
Okay.
I move to appropriate funds from the amount of $17,000 from the CPA undesignated fund for work detailed above at Flint and Hovey Ponds and a portion of the Quinsigamond River connecting them, with such funds to be expended by June 30th, 2023, unless the CPC by a majority vote extends the deadline.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion here.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor?
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 34.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move to pass over Article 34.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any motion on the discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
Most in favor?
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed in the gym?
No one opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 35.
Madam Moderator, I move to accept the proposed changes to the stormwater management bylaw as detailed in Article 35 and to further authorize the town to make non-substantive changes to the lettering and numbering of the stormwater management bylaw.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the motion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
All in favor?
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 36.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead.
I move to transfer the care and custody of 46 Adams Road from the Select Board to the Conservation Commission.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All of those in favor in the gym?
Looks like most in favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed in the gym?
Nobody opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 37.
Madam Moderator, I move to accept a donation of land located at 4 Millennium Drive from the Worcester Business Development Council if the Phase 1 site assessment of the parcel, if favorable, and to designate said parcel as open space under the care and custody of the Conservation Commission.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none, all those in favor in the gym?
I don't know, I'm not feeling very confident. You supported me, that's nice.
Most in favor.
All those in favor on the field?
That's gonna be wrong for some reason.
All those opposed in the gym?
Nobody opposed.
All those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 38.
Madam Moderator, I move to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, Clause 56, to provide real estate tax exemption in the amount of 100% for taxpayers who are members of the National Guard or military reservists serving on active duty outside of the United States.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
No discussion.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
All in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 39.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Carlson.
I move to accept Mass General Law, Chapter 56, Section 5C.5 for fiscal year beginning on July 1st, 2021, to provide an additional real estate exemption for taxpayers who are granted personal exemptions on their domiciles under Mass General Law, Chapter 59, Section 5, and that the exemption be up to 100% for the personal exemption.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion in the gym?
None here.
Any discussion on the field? Hearing none. All those in favor in the gym?
In favor.
All of those in favor on the field? All of those opposed in the gym?
None opposed.
All of those opposed on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 40.
Madam Moderator, I move to repeal Section 2 of Article 39 in the Grafton General Bylaws and replace it with the following new wording. The number of recreational marijuana retailers, RMRs, that shall be permitted in Grafton is limited to 3, or the smallest whole number that is greater than or equal to 20% of the number of licenses issued with the town under Section 15 of Chapter 128 for the retail sale of alcoholic beverages not to be drunk on the premises where sold, whichever is greater.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on the motion?
I have some in the gym.
I'll take a question from the gym.
Thank you, Madam Moderator, and a warm welcome to you this afternoon from my wife, my 3 daughters, and my 2 granddaughters. I compliment you on running and achieving your your role as moderator in Grafton. I'm voting, my name is Bill Yeomans,
Thank you.
297 Providence Road, South Grafton. I'm voting no on Article 40 for the following reasons. Article 40, if approved, would automatically allow up to 6 marijuana licenses in town if linked as proposed to the total number of off-site liquor consumption licenses granted. We currently have 6 off-site premises consumption liquor licenses. We know them as package stores, a wine and cheese shop, or a beer and wine and a variety store. Our state quota for off-site premises consumption licenses could allow the select board to approve as many as 12 such licenses. That would be 6 additional off-site licenses could be sought for approval. Article 40, if approved, would automatically allow 1 additional marijuana license for every 2 off-site liquor consumption licenses granted by the select board. Who might be the applicants for these 6 additional off-site licenses? Grafton is growing and growing rapidly, and it's continuing, and many opportunities will arise to profit from the growth. A few examples of approved projects that I'm aware of, and I'm not talking about single-family developments. Prentice Place has 40 rental units in North Grafton. It's underway and being built. Fisherville Terrace, South Grafton on Main Street, 100 condos approved, about to break ground. Providence Village, 8 condos. Providence Road, South Grafton, ready to build. In the permitting stage, the Village of Grafton Woods at Pine Street, a smart growth project.
Sir,
Excuse me?
yes, sir, the chair of the select board, Peter Carlson, would like to respond to your initial comment.
When I'm finished, I would like to finish what I have to say, and then he can respond.
I believe this clarification will assist you in the rest of your discussion.
Madam Moderator?
Mr. Carlson?
Thank you. The number that Mr. Yeomans has mentioned is not true based on the percentage of license issued for sale of alcoholic beverages. The way that it's in Grafton today is if you take 20%, which being the smallest whole number, it would be like 1.3. Whereas this article is talking a limit or a ceiling of no more than 3 RMRs. I just wanted to clarify that this will not make it 6.
So.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Carlson, for clarifying that. I was under the impression that it was going to be 50% of those off-site licenses approved, and if so, it would have allowed 6. So what you're clarifying is that there would be no more than 3 unless it came before the board again. But if I may finish the examples, I think of just tremendous growth that we're going to experience in the 3 projects, and then in the 350 units or 317 units rather, on Pine Street with the Smart Growth Project. So I'll just end my comments then with, I will still vote against this 3rd marijuana license because I think that in the future, 2 will do today and 2 will take care of our needs in the future. And I see no need to approve this article. Thank you.
Thank you. Further discussion?
Madam Moderator, thank you. Scott Rossiter, 2 Stonewall Drive. And like many of you, I've spent most of my life in this town, and I am very proud of the way we do things in this town. I'm proud of the volunteers that serve and on these boards and put in thousands of hours to help run our town. I'm proud of the fact that we still have an open town meeting where anybody can pretty much get up and say whatever they want and bring articles before us. But what I'm not proud of is this article. And I don't really care what this article is about. I was surprised to see it, frankly, when I looked at the agenda, because if memory served me correctly, we've looked at this identical article not once, but twice before. Some months back in that auditorium, this article came before the open town meeting, and we voted it down. A year ago on this field, this article came before this town meeting, and we again voted it down. Why does it keep coming back? It keeps coming back because somebody clearly is working in the dark corners trying to make sure that they get this license. Frankly, that is not the way we do things in this town. For that reason only, I will vote against this. And this logic, by the way, that each one of these licenses brings in an extra $300,000, by that logic, we should open 10 of them because then we'll get $3 million. Come on, guys. We're better than this. I say 3 times, 3 strikes, you're out, and I would encourage you to vote against this motion.
I have a question from the gym.
Roger Carrier, 3 Matthew Circle. I believe that when the motion was read, reference was made to section 15 of chapter 128 instead of 138 as it's written. I don't know if the 128 is correct or the 138.
Mr. Carlson?
Madam Moderator, it is section 15 of chapter 128 of the retail sale of alcoholic beverages. That's what was read.
Council is saying it's 138.
We have it written as 128.
Yes, it's printed as 138, but I did hear 128.
It's printed as 138. It's just a point of order. It is chapter 138.
In that case, wouldn't we need a new motion or a revision or amended motion?
Not for a point of order. Any further discussion?
Madam Moderator?
Mr. Mead?
Scott, you and I go back a long way, in this town. And, I don't think that there's any, dark, whatever it is that's going on in town. This was actually resubmitted by EDC, which I just found out. And if there's someone from EDC here to explain why this is back on the warrant, that would be some great information. But there's nothing going on in the dark hollows of the Grafton Municipal Center.
Thank you. On the field?
Do we want to yield to allow someone from EDC to talk first?
Oh, thank you. I didn't see you. Yes, we will have someone from the Economic Development Commission speak to that.
Irene Houle, 68 Carroll Road. I am a member of the EDC. I'm the Finance Committee liaison. The reason this was brought back was twofold. Primarily, the belief that it is the town and the businesses that will determine what is economically viable, whether that's 2 shops or 3 shops. And it's not going to matter in the end. So the people concerned with the amount of money coming in, this is an economic reality. We're allowed up to 10 licenses for liquor. Why don't we have them? Because the town doesn't support 10 liquor licenses. It would support 6. It may eventually support 7 or 8, we'll see. Same thing with the marijuana licenses. They're not going to come in unless they think they're going to make money. So no matter how many technically might ultimately be available, They'll only come in, okay, if the economics are there to support them. That is why we were in favor of bringing this back. We don't want to discourage business. We want to encourage business. If people believe they can make money, we'd like them to come into town, open their legal businesses, and provide tax revenue to the town. And that was the bottom line for this decision to bring this back in front of town meeting.
Thank you, Irene. Taking a question from a field.
Michelle Dalal, 16 Aspen, asking you to vote no to oppose Article 40. This article would allow 3 or more in the future if there are more permits for retail alcohol shops not to be drunk on premises. There were multiple discussions last year, as we just discussed, and we wanted to see how 2 dispensaries performed in our market and then decide if we needed or wanted more.
I'm sorry, point of order, that has been resolved. There will only be 3. Maximum of 3.
All right. Can I ask a question about that?
Absolutely.
If there are more alcohol licenses, wouldn't there be more marijuana shops?
Can I address it, Madam Moderator?
Yes, Evan?
Hi, Evan Brassard, again, new town administrator. So the original motion and language in the warrant has been updated, and I think that part of the information packet was skipped over. So originally, we were looking at that 50% mark, which would lead you to believe all of these things that we've just been discussing. After the warrant was finalized and posted, we were able to work with council and some other people with expertise to recraft that bylaw to only allow a maximum of 3. And so the reason for that is that after going through Finance Committee and meeting with EDC and all the different groups, the feedback was pretty clear that we didn't want something to be open-ended, that we wanted to have a cap. And so we were able to recraft that motion to cap it at 3.
Thank you for the clarification. May I proceed?
Yes.
In a town of 17,000, we do not need more medical dispensaries. More marijuana dispensaries, excuse me. Worcester, which is slowly being known as the eastern hub of marijuana with a population of 185,000, will currently have 1 dispensary for 26,000 people, while we will be allowing 1 for 5,000 residents if we increase the number of dispensaries in town. Lastly, I have repeatedly discussed health consequences of recreational marijuana dispensaries outlined in multiple scientific documents, namely side effects such as cannabis hyperemesis, chronic nausea, abdominal pain, violence, addiction, psychosis, motor vehicle accidents, increased risk of suicide. We cannot turn a blind eye to the impairment and disability that chronic recreational marijuana use is already causing. We do not need increased dispensaries which allow intentional and unintentional filtering of marijuana in high THC concentration vapes and edibles into the community. We must wait for policies to clearly show levels of marijuana in these products sold at these recreational dispensaries. In edibles, amount of marijuana in products can range from 1 to 100 milligrams of THC content, but it is not clearly labeled, and you would have no way of knowing how much you have eaten. Packages of edible marijuana, which will be sold in these dispensaries, have been found in the woods of Grafton, and it looks like regular Sour Patch candy packages or Girl Scout cookie packages that any child or pet could and would consume and be accidentally poisoned, which can cause vomiting, ataxia, low heart rate, effects on the GI tract and heart. Legislation at the State House has been introduced looking to set THC potency limits, improve labeling and packaging, and fund a public awareness campaign. But ensuring public safety from recreational marijuana use has significantly lagged behind the desire to make big money from recreational marijuana. The Economic Development Commission should be looking into other ways to make revenue in Grafton other than repeatedly proposing opening more recreational marijuana shops. I urge you to allow more research, tracking, and impact studies of recreational marijuana dispensaries before we begin opening more shops in Grafton. Please vote no to Article 40.
I'm taking a question from the gym.
Hi, my name is Maureen Spire, and I live at 51 Worcester Street. I think we can all agree that marijuana is legal in Massachusetts, whether we like it or not. people are going to buy it no matter where it is, whether it's here or one of the 15 dispensaries in Worcester. No one's going to care about driving 15 minutes if that's what it takes to get it. So marijuana isn't the thing on trial here. It's whether or not we're bringing in more budget into our town and more revenue. And whether or not we open up a third shop, people are still going to go somewhere to buy it. They're still going to use it. So it's pretty much a moot point whether or not we have an additional store or not. All we're doing is losing revenue.
Thank you. Carrie Hogan.
Hi, Carrie Hogan, 17 Craftsman Court. So, with regards to this article, this came up years ago where we authorized 2 shops. And at the time, the discussion had been, let's go slow, let's open up a couple of shops and see how they do. And what concerns me the most about this article is that we haven't even opened 1 shop, and now we're kind of marching ahead and saying, oh, we want to do 3 and do additional. I really would like to see what the impact is on our town before we rush ahead and authorize another one. Now, when I first heard about this, I was honestly a little bit unsure how I would vote initially. And the reason being is that there had been some talk in town about potential litigation because we had authorized 3 shops but only had 2 spots available. So that really caused me concern because I didn't feel that it would be fair for our town to be having litigation and us having to pay that. So that really gave me pause. But my understanding, and of course, anybody can sue anybody at any time. We know that. But my understanding is that if somebody did bring litigation, that it would not likely be successful. But what I would like to hear from our town council as far as what they would consider the chances of success if that the third last person to the game were to bring a suit, what are the likely chances that we would be held liable and that we would have to spend money defending ourselves? So I address my question to our town council, please.
Ginny?
Hi, Ginny Kramer, Town Council. You're correct that anyone can sue anyone, anytime, for any reason or no reason. And so, that's not particularly concerning. In this case, the issue is that there's no law on this matter. So in other words, the Board of Selectmen executed 3 host community agreements. And the reason that the board did that was because that's the first step in the process. So to get a host community agreement is a very low bar. All a potential retailer would have to do is host a community meeting and then appear before the board. So the board's thinking at the time, which is going back a few years, is that we didn't want to stop people at the gate because the town wanted to encourage its 2, which town meeting voted to have. And there's many reasons that moving through the process that these businesses can fall apart and end up never opening. So now there's 3 host community agreements and 3 businesses that are moving through the process and seeking provisional licenses from the state. So the only other point at which the town gets to weigh in is when the state comes to the town right before awarding the provisional license and saying, would this business be in compliance with your bylaws? So now with the limit of 2, it really is, happenstance who the first 2 to get those licenses are. And then the third one would have an argument. I think it's weak, but again, there's no precedent here because the marijuana law is so new. There's also precious little state guidance of any kind. So, the argument would be you signed a host community agreement with me, and now I can't get my provisional license because you're saying it would violate your zoning bylaw. So there's only been one case
out of Salem. It's favorable to the town's position, but that has only been dealt with, one single time. It's a different fact pattern than the one we have here. So it's really hard to assess the likelihood of success of the applicant. So that's the issue. If you had three, there's 3 host community agreements, and there could be up to 3 actual licenses awarded, and that would obviate the issue. But again, I wish I could tell you, give you a percentage-wise of success, but there just isn't any way to really gauge that at this point in time.
Okay, thank you very much for that clarification.
Microphone 1.
Andy Jefferson, 31 Lesson Street. I wanted to take an opportunity to respond to, I guess, what I would consider some fear-mongering regarding dispensaries. Sorry?
Yeah, you're too far away.
All right. I'm going to out myself here as saying that I have visited dispensaries in the area, and I would argue that they are more secure, in fact, than our local package stores. Your ID is scanned, not just visually checked, but scanned before you're even allowed to enter the premises, and then it's visually checked again before you go to make a purchase. The buildings tend to be very nondescript. There's no outdoor advertising as you would see at our package stores. There's no signage. Advertising or marketing signage, aside from perhaps a clever play on words, you might not even know, based on the title, what that business was. There seem to be several groups in town that are routinely concerned about the tax revenue that the town brings in, where those tax dollars are spent. I don't think we're in a position to turn our nose up at that revenue, especially when we're looking at inflated costs on things like trash hauling or student fees for sports, any number of places where this money could be put to good use. I do believe there are, in fact, regulations as to how many milligrams can appear in certain items. There are certainly regulations as to how much you're allowed to purchase, both recreationally and medicinally. I believe that's the end of my points. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Were there any further
Madam Moderator?
questions? Yes, sir.
Madam Moderator?
Mr. Mead?
Yes. I just got appointed to the Economic Development Commission, and I actually asked to be appointed to the Economic Development Commission because this town needs money, and we need revenue, and we need a lot of it. We don't need any more overrides or anything like that, and I'm gonna work as hard as I can to bring in more money into this town. Unfortunately, I'm not putting my weight in marijuana. I don't believe that it's. We have 2 licenses, and I know that there are people that are going to hear this and probably call me tonight, but that's okay. We have had 2 licenses or 3 licenses, correct? We have 4 HCAs right now. We haven't sold 1 joint in this town yet. And I don't know what is taking so long or why it's taken so long, but we haven't made a dime. 2 years ago, there was a proposed dollar amount put into the town budget of $350,000 that directly related to marijuana revenue. Well, it's not in this year's budget because we don't have anything. So I will vote no on this. I don't believe we need another one. I believe that we need to maybe try 1 and see what happens. But I'm not putting my economic development money into marijuana.
Any further questions from the gym?
Not at the moment.
Thank you.
Madam Moderator? I'd like to move the question, please.
There's a motion to move the question. That's what she was going to do. Vote yes. A vote in favor would end all discussion on this. A vote against will continue discussion on this article. All those in favor to move the question in the gym? All those in favor of moving the question on the field? I declare the motion passed. My laptop fell asleep. My notes are gone. Article 40. All those in favor in the gym?
I have 4 in favor.
All those in favor on the field? All those opposed in the gym?
I have 2 opposed.
All those opposed on the
3
field?
opposed.
Thank you. All those opposed on the field? I want to remind everyone that you're supposed to be facing red for no. Thank you. I'm going to start again. I declare the motion carried. I don't have the counters, but I will tell you it was 2 to 1. I don't want to say an exact number and have someone be like, I counted all the paddles and they weren't right, but it was 2 to 1. Sorry, now I lost my page. Article 41.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead.
I move to allow the Select Board to dispose of the property at 17 and 27 Upton pursuant to Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 30B, and under such terms and conditions as they deem to be in the best interest of the town.
Motion made and seconded. Any discussion on this motion from the gym?
No discussion here.
Discussion on the field? Yes.
David Terrian, 14 Maroney Road. I would like to start by saying that I'm not opposed to selling off the property that the prior DPW bond was on, which is actually 27 Upton Street. The wood barn or the tree barn that is at 17 wasn't in the original article last year, and I was told it was an oversight that they were combined. The truth of the matter is that the tree barn was purchased at a later date from the prior owner, the O'Hara's. There's clearly a difference between the two properties. Would it be possible for somebody to put up the Appendix C? this might make it a little easy to talk to. If you look at the green shaded area, the DPW, the old DPW building itself or portions of it, that in the land behind it, and just a little bit to the left, was purchased as that plus all of the land to the right of it and above it was purchased in 1957 from Kathleen O'Hara. At a later date, a year later, the town went back and purchased the piece which was parcel 3, which has the current tree barn or the wood barn on it. The deed for parcel 3 with the wood barn is a separate deed, book and page, separate plan from the larger portion to the property. In 1977, the town had a new plan prepared, and they took the DPW property and they carved it out of the larger piece that's now town forest. The original deed was something like 26 acres. They took out almost 6 acres for the DPW. By doing that, they were able to deed off or convey the balance to the town forest committee. At this time, if we were to vote no on this article, then Article 19 last year, I believe it was, which approved the sale of the DPW building, would still be in place, and it would give us time to rethink whether or not the tree barn property and the balance of that parcel would be better used for town uses than spinning it off. It's about 1.25 acres. It's adjacent to the railroad. It's close to the center. It would be nice to either preserve the barn and maybe put some parking in there, or find some other town use for it. But at this point, I would urge the committee at a town meeting to vote no on this article. And I believe what happened is that there wasn't a problem with last year's article. There was a problem with an RFP that was put out that included the 2 parcels. The RFP would probably have to be amended, but I still think it's in the town's best interest to vote this article down and just go with the property at 27. Thank you.
Any further discussion?
Madam Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Often.
So the RFP that we put out got exactly 1 response from a company called GSX. They're the company that is developing the 8 Pine property for us. In their response, they have proposed potential commercial use for this particular parcel. I think it's important, as we talk about the revenues for town and, the continued development of commercial property, that this is a potential for us to get something in there that is of considerable use for us and potential revenue for us as well. So I'm in favor of this article. I'm concerned that if we don't pass this, that we might have GSX back away from that important project. That's the Grafton Gateway project, which will bring a lot of much needed housing to the town. Thank you.
Thank you. Any discussion from the gym?
None here.
I would like Jenny to speak on this.
Just as a point of clarification, this vote would authorize the town only to sell what it actually owns. Before there would be a closing on any sale of real estate, there would be a title review, and any discrepancies would be identified at that time. So this vote only authorizes the town to sell what it owns. That was the intent of the article last year. apparently this, real estate, as you've pointed out, has a complicated history that's something that happens later on in the process before the closing. So this would only authorize the town to sell what it owns, and whatever those boundaries are will be determined as the process moves forward. So any title issues or discrepancies, this map is not definitive. If it turns out that there's some other boundaries in play, that's the only thing that the town will be able to convey to anybody. But a vote no would mean that the town cannot move forward with the process as Mr. Often described.
Any further discussion? Hearing none?
I have a
Oh.
discussion item from the gym
Okay. Question from the gym.
Sure, Roger Courier, 3 Matthew Circle. With the congested parking in the center of town, Mr. Terrian mentioned the fact that we could maybe cut some of this land off where the town barn used to be and keep that. What commercial use would the land right around the town barn be to somebody that's looking to do something with the former highway shed property? That portion of it.
Someone from the planning board could speak to that. Mr. Often?
Thank you, Madam Moderator. So we don't know, but what was proposed in the RFP response, it was mentioned that it might be a brew house or a wine bar. So, but I don't, it's all conceptual at this stage. I can't speak to that.
Any follow-up from the gym?
So conceptually, we're going to sign away a piece of land that could be used definitively to alleviate parking problems up in the center of town in favor of what might be a brew pub that would be located where on this property?
Madam Moderator?
Yes, Mr. Prasad?
So having looked at the conceptual plan, what we're calling the barn would be a brew pub with parking that's accessible for the downtown area, and then that connects over to, via a walkway, over to some housing and some retail space. Again, it's all conceptual because the town hasn't conveyed any property. So all we did was put out what's called an RFP, or request for proposal. That request for proposal included 17 at the time, which is why we're back here to talk about 17. So if the town votes to allow the sale of the property, you still have to go through all of those conceptual steps. This is just a hypothetical what goes in there. And, I would recommend, you want to do these sales on a more open basis because otherwise you don't get anyone interested in the property. You could say, I only want X in the barn, but there may not be a developer that wants to do X, and then therefore it just sits forever. Thank you.
Any follow-up from the gym?
Nothing more at the moment.
Thank you. Yes, sir.
Dave Jerian, 14 Marody Road. Just for clarification, the parcel that was originally voted on last year, 27 Upton Street, the deed for that never included the property that's associated with 17. There were two entirely separate deeds on two entirely separate plans, a year apart. And I don't know how the town was allowed to go out for an RFP for a piece of land that hadn't been voted on, but apparently we can. And at this point, I'm just saying we should take another look. If we will vote this down, I don't believe it would nullify the sale of the 27 Upton Street. It may require amended to the RFP, but the RFP was wrong to start with. So, thank you.
Any further discussion? Any further discussion from the gym?
Nothing here.
With no further discussion, this requires a 2/3 vote. All of those in favor in the gym? All of those in favor on the field? All those opposed in the gym? All those opposed on the field? Sorry, I didn't bring a calculator. I know I can't. I declare the motion carried by the required 2/3 votes, 103 to 30. Article 42.
Madam Moderator,
Yes.
this was a petitioned article, and so generally the petitioner would make the motion.
Oh.
Um,
Is there a petitioner for Article 42 here today? Thank you.
I motion to pass over Article 42.
Thank you. Motion made and seconded. All those in favor in the gym? All those in favor of passing over on the field? All those opposed?
One opposed in the gym.
I declare the motion carried. Article 43, also a citizen's petition.
Madam Moderator, point of order.
Yes, sir.
I'd like to make a motion to pass over this article.
I'm sorry.
It's all right.
Yeah.
I'm ruling that out of order. I'd like the petitioner to please step forward,
Why?
because I had asked the petitioner to state his motion, and you got to the microphone before he did.
That's not, that's,
This is Article 43, Citizens Petition. Would the petitioner please step forward? Please state your name and address.
Amar Clark, 106 North Street.
Thank you.
So what we celebrate as a community reflects on who we are.
I'm
and-
sorry, sir, you have to state the petition
sorry.
first. You have to make the motion before you can begin a
Sorry.
discussion.
So I say motion to carry Article 43.
And read it.
To see if the town will amend Article 2419 of the Personnel Bylaw, of the General Bylaws of the Town of Grafton, by deleting Columbus Day and replacing it with Indigenous Peoples' Day, or act on anything relating thereto.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion.
All right. What we celebrate as a community reflects on who we are and what we value. The different holidays that are observed around the world by different communities and what they choose to celebrate and memorialize reflects who they are. Over time, communities learn and grow, and sometimes we come to understand that we were wrong about things, or that the things that we do are hurtful to other people. When that happens, it's important to acknowledge these things and correct course. Many of the folks that I've talked to around town believe that our celebration of Columbus Day is an example of this. So today we decided to bring this to a vote. What we want is to change the town calendar to replace Columbus Day with Indigenous Peoples' Day. No changes would be made to your time off or your long weekend. This is just a name change on the holiday. This change acknowledges and celebrates our town's Native American heritage, which runs long and deep in Grafton. An example of this is the Nipmuc Reservation that we have existing to this day on Brigham Hill. This demonstrates that we also no longer want to celebrate acts of colonialism and genocide. These events are a part of our history and will always remain part of our history. And we can choose today to focus on more positive aspects of our history rather than the beginning of the near eradication of the original inhabitants of our country. This change aligns with the Grafton school calendar. The Grafton School Committee recently voted to make this change to the calendar, becoming a leader in central Massachusetts. This shows that we want to do better as a community. So why here and why now? Columbus Day has been celebrated nationally since 1934. We've grown as a society since then, and our values have changed. I don't think anybody would argue that we are the same people that we were in 1934. Back in 1934, Columbus Day was promoted to celebrate Italian Americans by highlighting a well-known Italian. And at the time, this was our country's only nod to the contribution that Italian Americans have made to our great nation. In 1989, Congress designated the month of October as Italian American Heritage and Culture Month, and we believe that this is the proper time to learn about and celebrate the country's truly great Italian Americans. Indigenous Peoples' Day is already celebrated by 14 states and over 130 cities across the nation. This is not a radical idea, and we want to be amongst the leaders in this change. Grafton, the town, exists on traditional Nipmuc land, so we have a closer connection to the Native American community than many other towns surrounding us. We believe that this connection should be fostered, and one way to do that is to stop celebrating a holiday that is hurtful and start showing the Native people that we care. I would ask you all to vote in favor of the motion, Article 43, to support Indigenous Peoples' Day. Thank you.
I need that submitted in writing, the motion that you have printed. Thank you. Is there any discussion on the motion from the gym?
Yes.
I'll take in question from the gym.
Madam Moderator, my name is Carol Westgate, and I live at 11 Weston Street. in North Grafton. But before I begin, I would like to just take a moment to give a shout out to and thank the people at the Grafton Senior Center for all the work that they did during this last pandemic that we had. It really helped us in my life, and I certainly appreciate it, and I know the other seniors do also. So thank you. I am a member of the Knights of Columbus. There is a council here in Grafton, in South Grafton. I want to speak to you for a few minutes to look at some of the positive features of Christian Catholic organizations that have as part of their name Columbus. The Knights of Columbus was founded in 1882 in New Haven, Connecticut by Father Michael McGibb, an Irish Catholic priest. Now, the reason it was founded was in those days, in the 1880s and before and after, there was no such thing as Social Security and or medical benefits. As you may remember from our history, that there were times when people became injured, they died, the breadwinner was no longer able to care for the family. This is when Father McGiffey, an Irish Catholic priest, began with putting together from his parish the people to help those widows and children. That organization became known as the Knights of Columbus and were housed in New Haven, Connecticut. Our goal is unity, charity, and patriotism. We are all brothers and sisters in God. We are all, no matter where we are. So all I want to say is I'm not in favor of this amendment at all. But the purpose of my speaking to you is that you want to downgrade Columbus, the early years, and nobody's perfect. Nobody else is perfect either. Not you, not me. I'm in favor of keeping Columbus Day as it is. And might I remind the RISE group that perhaps you should get together, pick a birth date among your organization, and why don't you use that date? And with that, I withdraw, Madam Moderator.
Thank you. Any further discussion? On the field, mic 2.
Hello, everyone. I'm Denai Harper, 6 Pratt Street.
And I am Lauren Welch. I live at 7 Frankie Lane. We are Grafton High School graduates from the class of 2021, and we are here to support the article to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day.
We are here to share our experiences as students and members of this community.
Like many of you here today, we were taught in our 12 years of schooling in Grafton that Christopher Columbus was a hero. He was portrayed as a brave, courageous man that discovered a distant and foreign land that we all now call home. We grew up believing this to be fact.
However, this narrative is a fantasy that we used as a foundation for our history. It is a lie, and it is a lie that holds more pain and destruction than most of us here could imagine.
Columbus was not a hero. He was a colonizer that stole land, people, and culture, brought violence and genocide, and got away with it in the name of manifest destiny, colonialism, and white saviorism.
Everything that has been mentioned about Columbus today, we were never taught in school. We were never taught that the indigenous perspective of the history of America, or how painful this holiday truly is for millions of people in the United States.
By celebrating Columbus Day, we are not only supporting the atrocities that he orchestrated, but we are allowing Grafton's children to be taught a warped perception of history.
From a student's perspective, we are not only horrified and angered by what Christopher Columbus did, but we are disappointed in the education and political systems that gave us this perception. We cannot look at this situation as a complex issue with a gray area. There is a clear right and wrong thing to do here. Luckily, we have the chance to do the right thing. We have a chance to listen to the indigenous voices who we have ignored for hundreds of years and whose narratives we have rewritten over and over again.
If you believe that changing the name of the day from Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day is not a big deal, please think about that privilege. We are grateful that our ancestors were not murdered, robbed of their land, their culture, and taken away from their families. We understand that these horrible crimes that Columbus committed in America are still prevalent today and continue to affect people in our community and the rest of the country.
As young people in the world, we feel it is our responsibility to speak out against parts of society that are unfit for our future. Changing the name of a holiday will not fix these problems, but it is a start. No one wants to live in a world where we are purposefully and willingly upholding and perpetrating ideas of violence and discrimination.
If you care about our Nipmuc history and community, as well as Indigenous people everywhere, and are interested in creating a more empathetic future, please consider voting to change this holiday.
Any further discussion from the gym?
Nothing up here at the moment.
Thank you. Laura Often.
Thank you, Madam Moderator. Hi, my name's Laura Often, and I'm a proud member of your Grafton School Committee, and I'm here representing them today. A few weeks ago, the committee voted to change Columbus Day to Indigenous Peoples Day. We are among 18 other districts who have made the change. In our discussion, we spoke about how words matter and how when you know better, you do better. We know better than we did before, so we should do better not only for ourselves, but for the future generations. We are looking at our curriculum and have made some positive changes moving forward on how we represent Columbus in our curriculum. And we also spoke about how this isn't a canceling of Columbus, but rather a better representation of who he is and what he did. There are very few people that have a holiday named for them. Should Columbus be one of them? And finally, earlier this year, when we voted to change the mascot, we heard from some concerned citizens that we were no longer honoring the Indian. This is a way that we can better honor our Indigenous peoples by renaming the day for them. Please join me in voting yes. Thank you.
Taking a question from the field?
Statement.
Yes.
Good afternoon. My name is Anthony Triggs. This is a statement on behalf of two of our local Nipmuc leaders, Cheryl Tony Hall and Brittany Wally. To whom it may concern, I want to express my gratitude to the Grafton Board of Selectmen and the town at large for exploring the creation of a resolution to make the much-needed change from Columbus to Indigenous People Day. Columbus never set foot in what is today known as Grafton. He did, however, spend time in the Caribbean, including present-day Cuba and the Bahamas. And while there, he committed insidious acts against the local indigenous people, specifically the Lakayan, Taino, and Arawak. A pioneer of murder, rape, bodily mutation, slavery, theft, violent colonization, and ecological damage, Columbus is today recognized as a forefather of systematically oppressive racism. Statues erected in his memory do not provide a proper platform capable of conveying this fact. They only help perpetuate an oversimplified version of his voyages. This oversimplified history is harmful to all and is difficult to resolve. It's challenging getting people to accept that they've been lied to, especially when the lie was perpetrated for years under the guise of a United States historic holiday. Grafton is within the ancestral homelands of Nipmuc. In my Nipmuc community, we feel the pain of our sister nations that were harmed by Columbus, and we feel the weight of his acts despite him not being the specific person who colonized our specific homelands. I know we are tired of explaining that Columbus did not, in fact, discover anything. Negative symbolism, such as a holiday celebrating Columbus, is destructive to indigenous people in our culture. They also make it increasingly difficult for our non-native allies to understand painful historical truths. Changing this holiday creates a wonderful opportunity to celebrate in Grafton and step on the right side of history as protests for racial justice sweep the nation. Many other cities have already taken action to change the holiday to Indigenous Peoples Day. There are endless action steps a community can take to properly engage with local native tribes, and of course, there are many other available options that the community could focus on regarding uplifting Italian history. the most important thing to remember is that this change would create a chance for people to move forward together in a positive way. Respectfully, Cheryl Tony Hawley and Brittany Wally. Thank you.
Madam Moderator,
Yes, Mr. Mead.
move the
Ward for 10.
question.
We have a motion to move the question. All those in favor, we will end discussion. All those opposed, we will continue. All those in favor in the gym to move the question. All those in favor on the field to move the question. All those opposed on the field. I declare the motion carried. Article 43. With no further discussion, all those in favor in the gym.
I have 7 in favor.
All of those in favor on the field. All of those opposed in the gym.
I have 2 opposed in the gym.
All of those opposed on the field. I declare the motion carried. Article 44, Citizens Petition. Yeah. Are you representing the petitioners?
I am.
Thank you.
I don't think I'm quite tall enough. Okay. Article 44, to see if the town of Grafton will vote to amend Article 2419 personal bylaw of the general bylaws of the town of Grafton by adding Juneteenth between Memorial Day and Independence to align with the state holiday or act on anything related thereto. Can I speak on the motion?
It hasn't been seconded.
Just kidding.
Motion made and seconded. Discussion on the motion from the petitioner.
Hi, my name is Julie Feeney. I live at 25 Janet Circle in Grafton. I'm a founding member of the community group Grafton Rise, which stands for Racial Inclusion and Social Equity. I first moved to Grafton in 2019 looking for a welcoming community to raise this guy. We have been very happy to meet many kind and engaged community members during our short time here. It is our belief in a welcoming Grafton that brings us to the celebration of Juneteenth. For those of you that may not be familiar with Juneteenth, it is the holiday celebrated on June 19th to commemorate the end of slavery with the freeing of the slaves in Texas 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation. The holiday, thank you, became popular at a national level in the 1970s. Massachusetts was one of the last states to adopt Juneteenth as a state holiday in 2020. Charlie Baker, per the state's website, stated, Juneteenth is a chance for us all to reflect on this country's painful history of slavery and the systemic impact that racial injustice continues to have today. He also said, it is also an opportunity to recommit ourselves to the goal of creating a more equal and just society. While Juneteenth is a state holiday, towns have the option to opt in or opt out. I bring this article for your consideration and ask you, voters and community of Grafton, what does it say about our town if we do not opt in? Our local municipal employee union has already voted to opt in. Your vote here would represent the town of Grafton's commitment to address the ongoing effects of systemic racism and our desire to do better. Doing this would enable a seamless process already started by the state and our town's union members. We are able to do better. A yes vote here would be tangible evidence on our town calendar that we accept the responsibility of the effects of racism and appreciate and celebrate our African American citizens here in Grafton. When the murder of George Floyd came to light in national media in 2020, our high school students served as our guiding light and inspiration to stand with each other in solidarity and empathy and say, enough is enough. This is now the time for those of voting age in Grafton to do what we can and tell our youth, we see you, we hear you, and we are doing what we can to stand with you. Together, we are one Grafton. We are not the best we can be until all our citizens feel heard, safe, and appreciated. Systemic racism has not historically been simply a police issue. Racism has involved being able to vote, employment discrimination, housing discrimination, our schools, and basically every single facet of our society. We, as a society, have a long journey to undo this harm. This vote would further this journey. My first Juneteenth celebration was at Boston in the Museum of Fine Arts. It was life-changing. To walk around the museum where so many different histories and life stories are represented, and to see performances filled with Black joy, to see people of all ages and races in deep dialogue with each other about racism, to feel the holiday so alive. It was an experience I will never forget. I know that here in Grafton, we can create our own character of Juneteenth's multi-generation and multiracial experience once we open this door. So thank you so much for listening to me today, and thank you in advance for your yes vote to support Grafton opting into Juneteenth.
Julie, can you bring the printed copy down to meet with Ginny? Thank you. Is there any further discussion from the gym? Thank you. On the field?
Hello, I'm Lisa Bem. I'm at 219 McGill. We should support Juneteenth not because it is a state holiday and the town is an option to celebrate it, and not because celebrating it as not celebrating it as a town would be embarrassing, but that to celebrate it is not only the right thing to do, but would be a joyous way to celebrate a national moment of doing the right thing at long last and freeing the slaves. When Lincoln issued the Emancipation Proclamation in 1862, he freed the slaves in the rebel states, not in the states he controlled. When an area of the South was taken back by the U.S., the slaves in an area were freed. This happened rather late in Texas, and the enslaved people there that did not learn that they were free until the Civil War ended in 1865. Starting in Texas, this important celebration of freedom is now a legal holiday in 46 states and is likely to become a national holiday. We in Grafton drew our strength from the mills, which not only manufactured and produced items that were produced and planted and harvested by slave labor, but also sold goods directly to Southern slave owners, sometimes for the slaves to wear as they performed this labor. We should pass a proposal to demonstrate to our children how important it is to step away from hate and do right by the people in our communities and beyond. Let's support this important state holiday. Thank you.
Madam Moderator,
Mr. Mead?
I'm going to go out on a limb here and move the question.
Motion made and seconded. Moving the question will end all discussion. All those in favor? In the gym.
Every time.
All in favor?
All those in favor on the field? I declare the motion carried. Article 44, all those in favor in the gym. Oh, wait. Okay, no, I was right. Okay. I was right. All those in favor in the gym. All those in favor on the field. All those opposed in the gym. All those opposed on the field. I declare the motion carried. Article 45.
Madam Moderator?
Oh, that's a citizen's petition, I apologize.
Yeah, and I believe you need to rule that out of order, as the town cannot convey what it does not own.
Yes, sorry. You threw me off my game. I had it in the script. I knew what I was
I'm
supposed to say.
sorry, you were looking over here like, I thought I was being helpful. I apologize.
The article is ruled out of order by the moderator. The town does not own the property.
Madam Moderator, before we move to adjourn,
Yes, Mr. Carlson.
I know we said this a couple times, but I just, on behalf of the town of Grafton, we want to welcome you. This is great to see you up here as our town moderator, and I think you did a great job first day outdoors during a pandemic. I just want to say thank you very much.
Thank you. $129, for those of you who were taking bets, I will now entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
All those in favor in the gym? All those in favor on the field? I'll see you in the fall.